Hello everyone. Very good afternoon. Welcome to our report. My name is Varsha Dhiman, and this is our ARD Descriptive lecture number 1, right? So, what I had decided, I'll do the descriptive answer practice. Okay, we'll do the descriptive answer practice, and I'll take the questions from the current affairs plus static portion. Okay, so yeah, we will be having two sessions, right? So one is for the descriptive answer writing practice, and in another session, we'll do some static portion revision, like the portion from the static part that is usually asked in the exam, right? So in yesterday's class, I gave you some 24 questions, okay, that is from your PYQ specifically. In today's class, like whatever the December 2025 agriculture and rural development news articles, okay, which can be in the question format, okay, from where we can have the questions in our examination, right? So I'll be taking all these things for you guys. Yeah. Very good afternoon, Shaurya. Very good afternoon to you, right? So let's start our discussion. Okay, here we go. So first question I'm taking, like recently we have this new act. Okay, so first question is related with this new act, that is Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rojgar and Ajivika Mission, that is Grameen Act 2025. Okay, recently we have this act, new act. So the question is, okay, I'm giving you the pointers, like you can use all these pointers in framing your answer. You can use any other point also. It's not like that you have to learn these points. This is for your understanding. Okay, if you have the question, and I don't know, but I feel like that VB G Ramji will definitely be in your exam. Okay, descriptive answer writing. So that's why I framed this answer for you. Analyze the significance of the newly enacted Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rojgar and Ajivika Mission, that is Grameen Act 2025, in rural development. What are its key features and how does it differ from the earlier Manrega? The question is clear. The sense of the question is clear to you guys? Yeah. Yes, very good. Yeah, start typing the questions and start saving them in MS Word. The one advantage that you can have with the MS Word is that, like, you can also check your word limits, like how many words you had written for a specific question. If you feel like that the word is less, you can work upon it, like to improving, to do the some improvements in it. Okay, so this is an advantage with MS Word, right? So this is a question. Okay, so recently this G Ramji Act is enacted. Okay, so you have to mention like why there's a need arises to have this act. First thing. Second thing is what are the key features of this act. Third thing is how it is different from Manrega. Yeah, very good afternoon, Aju. Okay, so let's talk about it. Firstly, let's. So you need to frame an answer. So firstly, you need to write an introduction. Okay, so for this, as it is based on a current affair plus Manrega, there's a two scheme they are asking in this question. So first is background and need. So the Parliament passed the VBG Ramji Act 2025. So it is passed in the year 2025, in the month of December 2025. Okay, so look at this. Manrega was in 2005. It is not mentioned in question, but at least you should be aware of it. Okay, so after 20 years or 2 decades of Manrega, we have a new act with us, and that is Viksit Bharat Ji Ramji Act. Okay, and this replaces a Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Well, like what is the main aim of it? For deeper rural employment development and livelihood security. Okay, so with this agenda, it was enacted. Now, what are the key features? So you need to mention about its key features. You can use some other examples also if you have. Okay, so its key features are employment guarantee. So under the Manrega, it was decided that you will get 100 days of employment, wage employment. So under this new VBG Ramji Act, it will provide a statutory guarantee of 125 days of wage employment per rural household per financial year, Okay, that is up from 100 days under Manrega. So under Manrega, you were having 100 days of employment, and under this VBG Ramji, you will be having 125 days of wage employment per household per financial year. Okay, if we talk about the infrastructure and livelihood focus, so it's emphasize creation of durable rural assets and livelihood enhancement that will strengthen the rural infrastructures. Okay, so its main focus is also on that we need to work upon the direction for the creation of durable rural assets. Okay, like the assets which anyone can use at any point of time. Okay, so this is another feature, and this is all mentioned in the act. Okay, you might have the specific session related to this, right? The third point is convergence of schemes. Like it aims at saturation coverages by integrating various rural development schemes at the village. So there are different schemes working for National Rural Livelihood Mission. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana is there. Okay, some missions related to the water supply. So it will help in, like, we whenever we have a specific new act or new program, basically, it is an integration of the previously launched schemes and development programs. So in a similar manner, it is also a convergence of schemes. Like various schemes are integrated with this new act, and that's how at the village level they will get the advantages from it. Okay, financial framework. So yeah, as it is a centrally sponsored cost sharing pattern, so under this, the financial framework or the cross or the cost sharing pattern will be, so for the general state, it will be 60 is to 40. Okay, and for the UTs and northeastern state, it will be 90 is to 10. So this will be the pattern of sharing. So that 60% or 90% will come from the central government, and that 40% or 10% will come from the state governments, with normative allocations that is shifting from ad hoc annual releases. Okay, next is seasonal adjustments, right? Allows suspension during peak agricultural season, so labor is available for farming needs. So when there will be the peak agricultural season, this new VBG Ramji will be suspended so that they will be available for the farm work. Okay, like for the agriculture labor. Although we are aware about the uh, disadvantages of this new G Ramji bill as well, but the question is about its features and how it is different from Manrega. Okay, so that's why we are moving towards a positive side in framing our answer, because we cannot be anti government or anti policies when if they are not asking us to be. When they ask us for some disadvantages or some points in against of a specific thing, that time we need to mention, but generally we need to frame our answer in a positive format. Okay, now how is it different? So we mentioned about its key features. Now you need to mention about how it is different from Manrega. So mandate expansion. So earlier there was a 100-day guarantee, and now it is 125 days guarantee. Funding structure. So there is a normative allocations and shared burden. So earlier mostly the funding was from the central government. Now it is uh, in a fixed pattern, and that is from the central and the state government both. Okay, implementation focus. So main focus is on providing the livelihood and rural assets building than merely wage employment. So earlier was related with the wage employment only, and now it is creating the livelihood opportunities and as well as infrastructure developments in the rural areas, that is rural assets establishment. Seasonal sensitivity. So it is mentioned during the agriculture season, when basically agriculture laborers are needed in the field, so that time this new act will be suspended so that they will be available there. Okay, so this is a difference between Manrega and VBG Ramji. Now is significance. So if we mention about, as a question is about, you need to analyze the significance also. So now if we mention about its significance, so what it will do, in this manner, employment security will be enhanced and rural income will be improved. Okay, it will encourages the asset creation and reduces the rural poverty. It will support the labor availability for farm operations, especially in the peak seasons. could lead to long-term improvements in rural infrastructures and economic resilience. Okay, so this is something which will lead in the long-term improvement. So that all these are the advantages related with this. Okay, this is the significance of VBG Ramji Act. Right now, at the end, you need to mention a conclusion. So in this manner, we started with the basic background. Okay, so here the background is acting as an introduction. Background is acting as an introduction for this question. You can mention any other point also if you have in your mind. Like you can specifically starting with the definition of or when the Manrega was launched, okay, and what are the different points related to this. So you can start like that as well. So after that, we focus upon the body parts. So in the body parts, firstly, we mention about the key features of the scheme, right? After the key features, we mention about its difference from Malrega. Then we mention about its significance. Okay, why it is important, right? At the end, we need to write a conclusion. So, as in complete question, we were mentioning the positive points of the VBG Ramji. So, at the end, also, we need to focus upon the positive point of VGG Ramji Act. Okay, clear? Now, so this VBG Ramji Act represents a structural overhaul of rural employment policy in India. It aims not just to guarantee job but ensure sustainable rural livelihood and infrastructure. So earlier Manrega was only related with the wage employment. Under this, we are focusing upon rural assets development, rural infrastructure development. Plus, during the peak agriculture season, we are suspending it so that the people, so that the rural population will stay in their rural habitats and do work in the agricultural field because we need to boost our agriculture as well. Okay, so earlier the main focus was upon the wage employment, and now our focus is on sustainable rural livelihood and infrastructure as well, aligning with long term development visions like Viksit Bharat by 2047. So this is our target now. That's why we are doing the necessary changes in the schemes that are already there in the country. Okay. So now this question is clear. Give me a thumbs up if the question is clear to you. You can put some extra examples also. You can put some extra definitions if you are aware of, as this topic is already covered in detail in some sessions. Okay, in current affair also I discussed, and I think Payal ma'am has taken a specific session related to this. Okay, so you can use all those informations. Give me a thumbs up. We are moving on to another question. So this is about the first question, right? So I had given you the pointers that you can use, right? Now moving on to another question. Yeah. So we all are aware about, I have taken a specific session also where I mention about the roles and responsibilities of NABARD. Okay, so on the same manner, I'm taking this question to you. So what is this question? So critically examine the role of NABARD in promoting rural development. Okay, you know that NABARD, that is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. So it is not a bank only. It is having multiple roles to play. It is a main refinancing agency. It is providing funds for the different projects in the rural areas. Like it is related with the rural infrastructure fund, your animal husbandry infrastructure development funds, um, rural infrastructure development fund, agriculture infrastructure development fund. So different funds are basically released by NABARD, as well as NABARD have a specific program which is self-help group bank linkage program. Okay, it is also connected with the rural regional banks. They are also getting the financial help from NABARD. So NABARD is having a lot of roles. So on the same ground, this question is framed for you. Okay, so critically examine the role of NABARD in promoting the rural development and startups in agriculture in light of its recent announcements in December 2025. So what NABARD has done in this particular month? Okay, this is a month of your phase one examination. This is a month where new programs were also introduced and some other developments are also mentioned. Okay, so let's talk about them in detail. So, yeah, you can. although I framed the question particularly in the reference of December 2025 because I'm taking the session in this manner, but you can mention it as an overall manner as well. Okay, so firstly, you need to define NABARD. Okay, you can also mention when NABARD was established, when NABARD was established. You guys are aware about it? Okay. So showing your knowledge, like you are aware about everything. You can also mention NABARD was established in this year on this particular day. Okay. NABARD have a very important role in rural credit, financial financing, agriculture infrastructure, and promoting rural enterprises. Okay, NABARD stands for National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. Okay, so you can start your answer like that. Then, as a question asked, you need to mention about the recent developments. Okay, so first is second fund for startups. So NABARD announced a 1,000 crore second fund for startups. In which particular sector? In agriculture sector and rural sectors. So what this fund will do, why there was a need arises for this to encourage innovations, agri-tech solutions and youth entrepreneurship. So I think yesterday you guys have a question on YouTube, like Manat ma'am took a one session where she discussed about agri-tech in detail. Okay, and you can use a reference here as well. So that's why I always say, like, whatever the classes you are attending, okay, make sure you are mentioning the things in your notebook. Say in the first question, I refer to the lecture taken by Payal ma'am. In this class, I'm referring the lecture taken by Manat ma'am. Okay, so you can pick the point from one lecture and you can use the point in another topic. Okay, and it can only be work well when you are in a practice of reading good books and taking the good lectures to have a better understanding of the topics. Okay, so this is one development. Second is young professional program. So launch of the young professional program 2025-26 to bring early career professionals into policy research. So recently we discussed about it. Like I shared a PDF with you guys on Telegram as well. So why like NABARD is coming ahead for like launching the young professional programs, and why we are having these kind of opportunities developments recently, so that the young individuals like who are just graduated, who are just looking for an opportunity and having a good knowledge base, they can go for early career professionals into policy research and strategic projects related to the rural development. They will be aware about these things from the very beginning so that it would be easy for them to go ahead. Like for example, I know like what type of what kind of activities we do in the agricultural field, so it would be easy for me to understand and teach you anything. If I am not from a rural background and I have not seen anything so personally, it would be difficult for me to imagine and how could I help you to relate with the thing. As I'm familiar with the practices in the rural area, so that's why I'm feeling more comfortable in telling you. Similarly, if the young mind who are just graduated, who are just post-graduated from these subjects, they become the part of the policy making body and they attend the seminars and the webinars of the policy making body, they will acquaint themselves with the specific knowledges and that's how they can use it further. Okay. RRB staff development. So that is regional rural bank. So continued institutional strengthening of regional rural banks via consultative platforms and tech integrations. Okay, so for example, I'm a part of an organization and we had started giving the reports on a regular basis. Like these are the work we are doing on regular basis and these are developments, but nobody is analyzing them on timely basis. Everyone feel like that in the last few months we will complete the paperwork and that's it. But if you observe that someone is observing you all the time, you will be more practically involved in the work assigned to you. Okay, so NABARD is working in the direction. Okay, NABARD is closely supervising the work that it has assigned to the different banks and the different organizations. That's why we call NABARD as a supervisory body also. NABARD is a refinancing agency, NABARD is a supervisory body, and NABARD is a funding agency. Okay, NABARD have multiple roles to play. Okay, and that's how, with performing all these roles on time, NABARD is acting as a promoter of rural development. Okay, now moving ahead. Next is, now what is the role of NABARD in rural development? As I mentioned, NABARD provide funds for the different projects. So it is mentioned here in detail. So firstly, we mentioned about the introduction. In the introduction, you can also mention when and why the need for NABARD establishment was realized. After that, we mentioned about the recent development in the specific sector. Now we are mentioning the role of NABARD. So role of NABARD in promoting the rural development. So one is agricultural credit and infrastructures. So what the NABARD do, as I mentioned, it refinances the banks and support the priority sector lending, ensuring credit flow to farmers and rural enterprises. Okay, we all know that if, for example, I'm working at the rural level, I'm working in a bank which is established in a remote area, and I'm not having enough funds. Farmers are coming there, farmers are sharing their challenges and issues with us, but we are in a specific situation that we cannot help them financially. So what is the need of us to be there? If the farmer is coming to us, they are sharing their financial problems with us, and I'm nowhere, I'm not having any fund in my hand. So what the role I'm doing there? Nothing, na. So NABARD helped me. NABARD helped me as an individual because I am employed there to act as a linkage so that they will get the funds on time and they can utilize all that fund in the agriculture field so that they can get the good livelihood from there. Okay, so NABARD is ensuring the credit flows to the farmers and the rural enterprises so that they work well. Okay, FPO promotion, that is farmers, producers, organizations promotions. So through capacity building and market linkages. Okay, we talk about it now, like NABARD is organizing specific programs. Okay, like I told you na that GB Pant University is organizing the mushroom cultivation programs, and similarly the other so different individuals or the farmers who are interested, who are having a land area, who are having the resource, and who are interested in knowing about the specific practices, they go for the trainings there. Okay, they attend this 1 or 1.5 month program there, learn specific thing, okay, and get a certification from there, and that's how. So this is a way of capacity building. Okay, and similarly the market linkages, like we have the enam and we have the other such programs with the help of which the farmers can directly link to the markets. So NABARD bolsters farmer producer organizations, improving the collective bargainings and the incomes of the farmers. Tech and innovations. Startup Fund fosters agri-tech and rural innovations. As I mentioned, NABARD is providing the funds. Okay, and these funds will be utilized in the technologies and the innovation practices like supply chain platforms, precision farming, fintech for rural credits, human capitals and research. So that young professional program enhances research in agricultural policy, digital adoption, and rural finances. Okay, so these are the role of NABARD in rural developments. Now, what are the, so when you come forward, definitely you will face some challenges also. They, or you will observe that the practices that you are doing as a NABARD, okay. So examine the role of NABARD in promoting rural developments and startups in India in light of its recent announcement. So recent announcement we discussed, role we discussed. So when we start working in a specific direction, definitely we can mention its impact also, and also we'll face some challenges in this, so we can mention the challenges as well. Okay, so what is the impact it can cause and what kind of challenges it can be faced. So positive impact are there, like fund, someone is available to you all the time to give you the requisite fund, so definitely it will encourage the diversification of rural economy. Like when you have someone who is supporting you from behind and giving you the funds on time, so definitely you can take a risk to diversify further. Simply, NABARD is acting as a fund provider. So in this manner, it can encourage the diversification of rural economy, youth participation, innovations in agriculture, and improved infrastructure financing. Okay, when you observe that there are always some programs related with the capacity building. Okay, some extension professionals are always available to you to tell you about the new scientific measures that you can use in your field. Definitely, you will feel confident in like using that informations in your field, right? What kind of challenges? Okay, NABARD is facing some challenges also. The reason effective implementation is needed everywhere. Na, like I am organizing a seminar at my hometown, for example, related to the awareness of a specific program. Okay, I had arranged most of the things, but at the last moment, there was some changes, and I'm not able to cope up with the changes. So what will happen? Effective implementation will not occur. Okay. Similarly, NABARD can issue the funds. NABARD can supervise you, but the people who are in direct connection with the farmers, they need to be actively involved there. They need to be dedicated towards their work. Okay, so effective implementation is a challenge. Monitoring fund utilization, like you can ask for the quarterly feedbacks, you can ask for the reviews or the reports on a weekly, monthly basis, but you cannot check on the daily things. So monitoring of fund utilization, that is also a challenge. Scaling pilot innovations. Okay, like some programs are implemented for the first time, like how they are performing in the beginning, the farmers are not aware about, so definitely you will face a lot of challenges, but how you are interested in taking the things forward, so that matters. And ensuring inclusive outreach across regions. Okay, like the areas which are remote, so how the things are going on there, so that is also a challenge, right? Now conclusion. So what could be an effective conclusion for this question? So one is, by blending the credit support, innovation funding, institutional capacity building, human capital development, NABARD is strengthening agricultural value chains and rural development architecture. Its December 2025 initiatives reinforces its strategic pivot towards modern rural finance and sustainable development. Although I specifically target this question with the reference of December, you can frame this answer in a general manner also. Okay, when you will frame the answer in a general manner, you will use the informations mentioned in the NABARD annual report. Okay, we discussed about the NABARD annual report na. So you can use all those informations of NABARD annual report to frame a good answer. Got it? Is it clear to you guys? Question is clear, the sense of the question and the explanation is clear to you? Any other queries or the things you want to ask? Yeah, I'm giving you 2 minutes. See, descriptive answer writing is all about your involvement. So I request everyone who are in the class to involve there, ask your doubts, right? Now I'm having another question also. You might be aware about what's the price of tomato at your location? Prices of tomato at your locations. Any idea? Yes, ma'am. Zero is saying yes, ma'am. Okay. Prices of tomatoes or and different vegetables at your locality. You might have heard about in 2023 there was a hike in the prices of tomatoes. It was around 200 per kg. Okay. And recently also, like we discussed about a news article where onion prices were at hike. Okay, so there are some like these kind of events are always happening. Horticulture crops are the one that suffers a lot because they are perishable items. Okay, so you need to be aware about these things. Like in 2024, there was a question related to the benefits of post-harvest management, benefits of value addition, and benefits of supply chain management. Okay, in the horticulture crop. So similar question can be asked this year as well. Okay, so be aware about the things that are going on around you. Okay, so let's talk about a question. What is happening around you? So what we are observing. So discuss the contemporary issue in the rural economy in India as reflected by recent mandi price trends and rural indicators. How can policy responses address these issues? So when the farmers notice that in the market there are certain things happening, Okay, and because of which farmers fall into the trap of the middlemen. Okay, 60 here, price of tomato here is 70 in my area. At my area, it is around 80. Yesterday, it was 80 rupees per 80 rupees kg. You asked to your family and then you are answering now, huh? Chalo. So what happens like when the farmers observe that they are going to the market to sell their agricultural commodities and the huge production, because of the huge production, the price is about to fall. So what they do, they fall the trap of the middleman and they sold their commodities at any price that that the middlemen offer to them. Okay, so because of these things, they like come into the loss situation. Now they're in a loss situation. They are selling their commodities at any XYZ prices. So every year, farmers face these kind of situations. Okay, now look at the question. What is the question? Okay, here we have the very good explanation for MSP. Like we can mention about our informations about the MSP. So, discuss the contemporary issues in the rural economy in India as reflected by recent mandi price trends and rural indicators. How can policy responses address these issues? So, every year, these issues are the things that we observe, and then we have the policy responses or the specific that we have the interventions like MSP and government involvements, like we have the ENAM. Okay, so we need to mention all these things in a very good manner for the question. Okay, so how we can frame the answer for the question? So current scenario, we can start with the current scenario. I always mention introduction is not something where we need to mention a definition all the time. You can use some data also. You can start with some data as well. So recent data that is of December 2025 show average mandi prices of major kharif crops. How many kharif crops are there? Any idea? Rabi crops and kharif crops. So recent data show average mandi prices of major kharif crops trading below MSP. Okay, so this is observed in the market. Prices of the major kharif crops are going below minimum support prices. Okay, now farmers are in a situation like what to do now. Okay, so they are selling their major agriculture crop at below MSP, and that is affecting their incomes. Wholesale crop prices continue lower for crops like maize, soybean, and pulses. So this is a situation. Okay, wholesale crop, you know the meaning of wholesale, like the farmers are selling their commodities in bulk, and their commodities are like in the market, in the mandi at the lowest prices. So while inflation and food prices eased, declining farm gate prices pose stress on rural income, slowing economic recovery. Okay, so when it will be the food prices is like inflation will occur, so definitely this farm gate prices will pose declining the farm gate prices pose stress on, so that's how it will cause a stress on the income of the rural households, and their economy recovery will be slowed down because the farmer who work upon his field for 5 6 months in a continuous manner from the pre-sowing to the post harvesting operations, he was not earlier he was not having the money in the hand. He might have taken some financial help from the institutions or from known institutions. He need to pay the amount to the specific individuals with the interest rate as well. So if he will sell his commodities at the lowest prices of like lowest than the MSP in the market, so definitely he will not be able to recover himself economically. Okay, so this is a current scenario we are observing. Now, what are the key issues? Okay, so what are the key issues for all these things? So discuss the contemporary issues in the rural economy. One is the MSP realization gap. So wholesale and mandi prices below MSP reduce profitability and discourage the crop production. Okay, like you are working on a specific commodity, and when you observe that you are not getting the basic amount you invested in the crop production, what will happen? You will observe that profitability has reduced, and as well as You will not grow the same crop again. In the one manner, we are asking for the farmers to providing them 100% procurement so that we will become Atmanirbhar in pulses production. We will be become self-sufficient in soybean production. In the other manner, the market and the mandi trends are different. So definitely the farmers will be in a state of confusion, like what to do now. Okay, inconsistent return. Disparities in crop returns create income volatility for farmers. Okay, so this crop return, like this, there's disparities in this, so that also create income volatility. Like the farmers' income are not stable. Rural demand weaknesses. Moderate rural consumption and slow wage growth impact rural demand indicators like rural vehicles sale. Market linkages, weak, yeah, the areas where you are growing the major commodities, they are not linked with the main markets. Okay, their prices are very high, like when they are uh, so like custom doing the custom hiring, so that their products will be supplied to the market, so that price is also very high. So farmers are facing these kind of issues, and there's a weak market integration, storage facilities are not so good, value addition, so that also hamper the price support. Okay, see, the thing that we are mentioning on papers, like the schemes and the programs we are having, and how the ground reality is, these two are the different things. So when you frame an answer now, you need to go through the question in depth. Okay, and what the exact thing that you are observing, if the question is asking you about the exact thing that you are observing, you need to answer in that manner. If the question is asking you about a specific program, like when it was launched, what was the objective there, you need to mention in a theoretical manner. Okay, so this is very important to know, like what type of question you guys are asked about. Okay, yes, there are total 14 kharif crops, and these kharif crops, like the soya bean, the pulses, the maises, they are facing these kind of setbacks. Okay, so these are the key issues. Another thing is policy responses. So we are having this policy, okay, which are addressing these kind of issues. One is a procurement and MSP enforcement. Okay, see, on paper it is mentioned like for the pulses, the farmers have to go for 100% procurement to the nodal agencies, that is NCCF and NAFET. Government has said this statement with the mission Dalhan, that Atmanirbharta in pulses mission. But farmer is not taking the online classes, na? Like you guys are taking the online classes. So there should be some individual who will make the farmers aware about the schemes that are actually launched for them. Are you getting my point? So there is some gap in between, like exact informations are not communicated to the person who is the intent beneficiary of the specific scheme. Okay, so there is a challenge that is occurring, that is a communication gap, we can say. Okay, so these are some policy responses to address these kind of issues. Okay, so in the right time, when for example I am teaching you all these subjects, okay, uh, suppose your exam is on 25th, sorry, suppose your exam is on 2nd of January. Okay, I'm taking the classes regularly, but on 1st of January I mentioned something which is very very important. Okay, and that will be definitely asked in the exam. So on the night of 1st January, like at 10 p.m., I uploaded a video which is very important, like the thing that will definitely pass in exam. As you guys are having your exam on 2nd of January, some of the students will be traveling, some of the students are not using the mobile phone at the 10 p.m. So at that point of time, releasing any informative video is of vain, is of no use to you guys. Okay, all how much informative it will be doesn't matter, like the time frame that matter. So similarly, government is launching specific missions, specific programs for the farmers, but if that exact information will not be delivered to the farmer at the time they will need it, it will be of no use to them. Is that the point clear to you, what I had explained to you now? Give me a thumbs up if the concept that I explained to you now is clear to you. Okay, What I want to tell you, is that thing clear? The students who are in the class, yeah, Shaurya, Aju, Zero, is it clear? So similar thing is happening here. Okay, procurement and MSP enforcement. So what is it basically? Strengthen procurement operations beyond wheat paddy to ensure MSP support for pulses and oilseeds. So this is one policy response to address this challenge. Second is price stabilization mechanisms. So we have the scheme like PM Asha, basically for the price stabilizations. Okay, that includes a robust price deficiency payments and buffer stocks. Infrastructure development, invest, there's a need to have, although we are having a lot of programs, we're talking about the infrastructure developments and other things, but there's a need to do the developments, like something on a paper and something on reality is always different. So there's a need to invest more in rural cold chains, warehouses, digital marketplaces for better price discovery, credit and insurance support, like expand credit excesses and robust crop insurance to protect the farmers from price and weather risk. Value addition and FPOs, okay, that is farmers producers organization, promote FPOs for collective marketing, processing units, and farm to market linkages. Okay, so these are the policy responses in the specific direction to improve the conditions of the farmers, okay, and to boost the rural economy of the country. Okay, yeah. Now, moving ahead, if we talk about the another thing, so at the end we need to mention a conclusion. Okay, so I mentioned the issues. What are the issues that are actually happening in the mandi? So, aspirant, this question, like I am writing this specific heading, but this specific answer can be used in another question also if there is question related to what are the policy responses the government has taken to issue the challenges of price fluctuations. Okay, so I gave you this question in the recent format, but this question, this explanation can be used to write an answer for the question like price fluctuations. Okay, so I'm explaining these questions to you so that the things will be better for you to understand. Okay, like reforming the mandi price support and enhancing the structural market mechanism are critical for stabilizing the rural economy and the farmers' income. So there's a need to have these reforms in the mandi prices. Okay, integrated policy actions across procurement, infrastructure, credit, and insurance that will strengthen the rural economic resilience. Okay, so if policies actions will be integrated, they consider the procurement, infrastructure, credit, and insurance, so they can only work in strengthening the rural economic resilience. Okay, so this is about the question. Now another very important question, this is a very important question. Okay, so yeah, Akyankya, this thing is clear to you. So in this manner we had discussed some three questions and all the questions are from the different topics. So first question we discussed about VBG Ramji. Second question we discussed about, yeah, please tell NABARD, okay, and the developments and the main work, challenges, other things. Third question was related with the MSP or the policy responses to address the issues of price fluctuations. You can have the question like, what are the policy responses that are addressing the issues of price fluctuations? In this question also, you can use all this information that we had discussed here, right? Now we have question number 4. Yeah, so recently on 23rd of December, we observed that National Farmers Day or Kisan Divas. Okay, so National Farmers Day or Kisan Divas was observed in December 2025 with an emphasis on farmer empowerment. You need to explain the relevance of this day in the context of Indian agriculture and also the major issues faced by farmers today. So you guys will answer it. I am giving you the notes, like let's talk about it. Okay. So this is also very interesting question. Okay, whatever the notes I am providing to you, you can use these notes and you can write your answer in your words as well. This question is quite simple, easy question. This one is easy. Okay. So let's talk about it. So firstly, you need to write an introduction. So here the introduction, I'm mentioning the background. We are all aware about that National Farmers Day celebrated on 23rd of December every year, and that is to honor the farmers of the country. And that is on the day commemorate the birth anniversary of Chaudhary Charan Singh, who is a champion of farmers' rights. Okay. So relevance is what is the relevance of this Kisan Divas? It recognizes the farm. We know that the farmers are Annadata or the food providers and acknowledges their roles in national food security. If the farmers, Jai Kisan, we have the Narana, Jai Kisan. Okay. So if the farmers are not dedicated to their field work all the time, will not be able to have the food to fulfill the national food security, or we will be also in the hunger like index, although we are having the rank, you know about it. Okay. So serve as a platform to reflect on policies, challenges, and reforms in the agriculture sector. Okay. So now let's talk about contemporary challenges for the farmer. But still, the farmers are facing some issues, some challenges, although we have a specific day to recognize it and to mention about it. But still, today's farmer also facing the issues and the challenges. So, what are these contemporary challenges for the farmer? First is the price volatility. As I mentioned now, Mandi prices are below MSP, squeezing farm income. Okay, so when they are going to the mandi to sell their commodities and they are observing the all the wholesalers in the mandi, they have their they have their committee and with and collectively they decide a specific price. The farmers feel like अब कहाँ जाए, where we can sell the commodities. Okay, so they are under pressure, and then that time they have to sell their commodities at the mandi prices, which is below MSP most of the time. So that is also squeezing the farmer income. So this is one challenge. So every year farmer face this challenge. Okay, because 100% procurement of all agriculture commodities is not by the government agencies. Okay, they have to say sold these commodities at the mandis only, right? Credit stress, gap in affordable credit access, and shift in informal credit uses. Okay, so this is also a challenge. Input cost and subsidies. High input cost affects profitability. Okay, so farmers have to invest a lot of money in the fertilizers, in the good quality seeds, in the pesticides and all. So that is also affecting their profitability. The need for rationalized income support. So they need to have this income support. Climate risk. So climate is something which is unpredictable. Okay, a farmer has sown a seed. He is working very hard on his field, and some like all of a sudden the erratic rainfall patterns followed. So what the farmer will do, his all mehnat will be in vain. And we have the recent examples of Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Punjab floods. Okay, the farmer's crop was about to harvest, and then the flood situations occur. Okay, so climate risk is also a challenge to the farmers, and climate risk is something like we cannot work upon this thing directly. We can address it. We cannot work upon it. Na? Marketing and the value chains. Another thing is fragmented markets are there, limited value addition opportunities are there. So this is also a challenge. Okay, they're not having the markets. Farmers are not having the direct access to the main markets. Okay, they have to reach to the small markets near to their localities, and their farm fragmented markets are there, and there also they are having the limited value addition opportunities. So because of this, they have to sell their commodities at the prices that the wholesalers are um, showing telling to them. Okay, now, policy focus areas. So, yeah, what is a policy focus area in this direction? Extending MSP, support price, and effective procurement across more crops. So, what we can do now, we are having nearly 22 crops under this, like 6 plus 14 plus 2. What we can do, like we can extend the MSP for the other commodities also. Okay. procurement, we can work upon the improvements in the procurements, like nodal agencies will procure most of the farmer commodities. So these things we can do. Strengthening the agriculture credit and insurance scheme, like farmers can have the Kisan credit cards, market interest subvention scheme, their insurance schemes as well. So we can strengthen them. Promoting the digital agriculture and technology adoption, encouraging farmers, producer organizations, and agribusiness models for better market access. Okay, so these are some focus areas we can work upon. Okay, so at the end, we need to mention a one sentence as a conclusion. So, National Farmers Day is more than symbolic. It is a reminder to evaluate and strengthen policy responses for sustainable farmers' welfare and agriculture development. Okay, so as we are addressing all the challenges the farmers are facing, so in this manner, so this thing should be considered, right? Now we have, just a second, let me look at your comments. Yeah. Can we add post-harvest issues and lack of modern skills? Yeah, you can add, Akyanka, you can also add, these are also the challenges the farmers are facing. Like they had harvested their agriculture commodities, and as they are not having the good infrastructure facilities. So because of which, after harvesting of the commodities, they need to immediately supply the commodity to the market or the mandis. Okay. And when they visit the mandi with their complete trolleys full with agriculture commodities, and that time the mandi owners or the wholesalers, whatever the price is, they will tell you, na, you are not having any other option in your mind, you just have to sell it. And that's how the farmers are falling into all this trap. Okay, yeah. If we add women farmer challenges or gender gap issue in farmer, will it yeah, definitely you can also mention. Okay, see what happened. Yeah, see, but the question is more about the major issues faced by farmers today. That post-harvest issue is good here. Well, we can mention it, but the women farmers related issue will not be, because we are not talking about the gender gap or gender disparity here, na. So that will not look more good for this question. Okay, you need to mention the issues which are so general here. Okay, women farmer issues we can mention, like there will be some questions related to the women empowerment as well. Women are also working in the field, but they are not. They are working at the labor level only. Okay, they are not getting the good income. That's why we have the Lakpati Didi Yojana, the Drone Didi Yojana to empower the women. So in the question which is more women centric, now where the role of women in agriculture and the rural development is specifically asked, now there we can mention about it. Okay, like that time we can mention the schemes also which are launched to empower the women's. But for this question here, we are mentioning the farmer in general. We are not, if we'll specify it now, so we need to mention about it in other headings also. And that's how it will deviate from the central idea. Okay, so it will not work well here, right? So this is one important question. And aspirants, see, I'm not explaining you the questions of last 4 years. I had shared the questions in the first class. Please write the questions in your notebook and start framing answers for them as well. Okay. As I discussed some of the questions on YouTube also of the previous year, you can watch those sessions. Firstly, I'm covering the new and updated questions for you. I'm not repeating the questions here. I'm covering the new and updated questions first. Okay, so please do the questions by yourself. It is your responsibility. Okay. Now, another question. So this is a question which is related with the global thing. Okay. So this is also one issue. I'm mentioning it here. Sometimes it happen like you can have the question like this, and it can be covered in your ESI portion, because in your ESI portion, economic and social issues portion, we talk about the global levels also, right? At some points, right? So that's why I included this question for you. You need to evaluate the impact of global agricultural movement. So there was 2025 Greek farmer protest on international agricultural policy discourse. So, what lessons can India draw? Why, like, this question is important? Like, there are some movements are happening in the global level. Okay, so if the situations in India are not improved and the farmers are also facing the same challenges and they are not getting the good income, okay, and the mandi is trying to distress the farmers will all again fall the trap of money lenders. So farmers will be frustrated one day and they will also start the movement again. Okay. So yeah, this question is about evaluate the impact of global agriculture movement like the 2025 Greek farmers protest on international agricultural policy discourse, and what lesson can India draw from there. Okay, so it is good question. So firstly, you need to mention the overview of Greek farmers' protest. So starting late November 2025, okay, in the last week of November 2025, Greek farmers protested nationwide against delayed European Union subsidy payments, rising input cost, and poor compensation mechanisms, including border blockades and large tractor rallies. So recently, we also observed this thing in our country. Now, when we were fighting for the Farmers' Right Act, there was a protections, there was a protest all over the country related with this MSP, and the farmers were protesting all over the country for their rights. Okay, so this thing already happened in our country. Recently, we also observed that Aravali, the issues related with the Aravali, okay, the definition given by our Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the Supreme Court intervention related to this. So that time also the farmers were on road, like the people who are living near the Aravali Hills, they were on road, they were doing the tractor rallies, okay, just to save the Aravali. So similar thing are not only happening in our country, they are happening in other countries also. Okay, they are somewhere for protection of environment, for protection of agriculture field, for protection of the farmers, right? So this thing is happening. Okay, and what is the reason for this thing? Administrative delays in common agriculture policy subsidies. Okay, so why it happened? Like the European Union subsidy payments were delayed. High energy and production costs burdening farmers. Okay, and they need to invest a lot of money in purchasing the basic inputs. For example, I'm investing some money on a specific thing, and at the end I'm not getting the return, so I'll become frustrated now. Like you are dedicating your multiple number of hours on a specific thing, and at the end you observe that you are having nothing in your hand, you will be frustrated. So similarly, farmers are frustrated. Insufficient disaster compensation. Natural disasters are something which is unpredictable, and something you as a farmer will suffer a lot because you are not having enough in your hand. So you always come in front of your government to pay some compensation monies, and if the government is failing in giving you the compensation at the time of need, so definitely you will uh, be rich, you will come ahead with the different kind of energy. Okay, so because of all these things, Greek farmers come ahead and they protest. Okay, now impact on policy discourse. So highlights the importance of timely subsidy flow and responsive agriculture support mechanism. Okay, so if there will be timely subsidy flow, responsive agriculture support mechanism, definitely you'll feel like someone is there looking at you all the time. Draws attention to producers' income security amid market volatility. Signals farmers' propensity to protest when policy delivery fails, influencing European Union policy review debates. Okay, so when you observe that all the farmers are coming together in front of you in the protection, uh, in protesting something, so definitely you will observe your policies and do the necessary changes. Same thing happens in the Aravali Hill case. Now, like today also in the news article, like Supreme Court come ahead with the new definition. So earlier there was another definition, like near the by the areas of 500 meters, there will be no mining operations will be performed. Now another definition, another new statement is given by Supreme Court. Okay, so when you observe that people in large number is coming ahead to address a specific issue, there's something which is missing, like something which is actually missing. Okay, so this problem was decoded by European Union, and they come ahead to address the issue. Now, what lesson India should take from this? Okay, so same thing can happen in our country. Now, if the farmers will fall into the trap of mandi or this middlemen, they will be frustrated once again, once, and they will also come ahead with their issues. Like they come 2 3 years back for the protest, farmers protest. Okay, same thing can happen again. So, what are the lessons for India from all these explanations? Efficient delivery of support, like timely and transparent implementation. So if all these things will work well, so definitely our farmers will be in a calm mode, otherwise they will also come forward. Okay, cost support mechanism address rising input costs through targeted incentives and fuel energy support. Safety nets strengthen risk management tools, like now we are having the crop insurance, drought reliefs, and market minimum prices. So if these things will be working all the time, the farmers will be happy and work well. Farmers' engagement, policy formulations with active stakeholder consultation to prevent agitation and ensure policy acceptance. Yeah, it is very, the last point is very important. Suppose you are preparing something for me and you are not asking me or not involving me, and you are just serving it to me at the end of the day and saying like you have to follow it. I'll definitely oppose it, no? Because I know about my conditions. Okay, you had made a policy and you had mentioned it on paper, and you are asking me to follow without knowing my exact situation. How could I agree with you? So there's a need to have the farmers in involvement in the policy formulations. Otherwise, hesitations will occur, and the farmers will not accept your policy. Okay, so these are the lessons India should take. Conclusion is global agricultural protests underline the universal challenges of farmers' welfare, market volatility, and policy delivery. So the protests that occur in that European region, it is not for the farmers of that area only. It is addressing the issues that is actually occurring in all the countries of the world. Okay, so this protest address the universal challenges of the farmers, like the farmers are facing challenges in the welfare, market volatility, in the policy delivery. And India can strengthen institutional mechanism to preempt similar discount by ensuring timely, inclusive, and farmer-centric policies. So when we should not wait for the time when our farmers will also come ahead with the same type of agitation in the protest. We should start doing our work on time and start giving the preference to the farmers in the policy framework, so that our farmer will not go for the same protest that actually happened in Greek. Okay, so that's all about today's session. I feel like that today's lecture is quite interesting. You guys get a lot of new things from today's class. If you like the session, what you have to do, you have to write a good feedback, and please practice this 5 questions. Okay, and might be I'll not be available for class tomorrow because I am having I'm seriously having the throat infection. The one reason. Okay, another. So I'll share the questions. With, please go through this particular lecture. These questions, 5 questions from there, and 24 questions already given to you. And you can drop your queries to me on my Telegram as well. Okay, so ending the session for now, right? Chalo.